Tom's trade rules, rule number 9. Holding on to a position overnight is the same thing as entering that trade at the end of the day. I know some of you are going to be all up in arms with this one. No, it's not. We're just following our plan. Well, totally understand that you're following your plan, but understanding what happens when you're holding positions overnight. So as I'm holding positions overnight, when you hold a trade overnight, it means you've entered a trade during the regular trading hours at some point previously, and now you're deciding to keep that trade active even after the market has closed. Now, if you're going to keep something active even after the market has closed, it is exposing your position to potential market movements, news, events, price gaps, that can occur when the markets are closed. So if you're concerned about what the market may do after hours, and you'd hesitate on putting on that same position at the close of the day, then you may want to consider whether holding on to that existing position is really a good idea. So my take to you here is, if you would put or not put that trade on right before the close of the session because you're afraid of something, then you really should consider whether you should have that position open overnight at all. And this is a fairly rare occurrence. It's not going to be every single trade that you have. However, there's going to be some positions that you really should consider whether you should hold that overnight, even if your trade plan says it should. And one of the key reasons for this is emotional stress. Holding positions overnight can lead to an increased emotional stress, as traders might feel anxious about the potential market moves while they're unable to actively monitor or adjust their positions. If holding overnight is going to cause you stress, then close the position at the end of the trading session. It's okay. If you remember rule number 8, nothing wrong with closing a winner. Getting back in is just a trade away. Now, not all of these may be winners, but you are a winner if it removes stress. I'm all about the mental side of trading. You've got to stay cool. You've got to stay calm. You've got to trade without emotion. If you're worried about something that you're holding overnight because there could be an event or something that you're worried about, you got to get out of the trade. Okay? You should not be trading positions that are causing you serious emotional stress. Now, I can say stay calm and be cool and trade with ice water in your veins. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't some positions that really concern me or you at times. But if I'm going to be looking at the end of the day and the market's going to close in 20 minutes or so, and I'm really, really worried that, okay, something's happening, there's earnings after hours, there's something that's going to happen, okay, I really need to consider whether I even want to be in that position. And it really comes down to your risk tolerance. What are you willing to endure? Holding positions overnight exposes you to the risk of price gaps and any unforeseen events. Considering your comfort level with this risk and whether it actually aligns with your risk tolerance. So consider your personal comfort level, not mine, not somebody else's, your level. I might be much more willing to hold trades overnight, maybe based on the size of an account or, personal history or amount of time I've spent trading. I might be much more comfortable with certain positions. Some traders who are probably trading the wrong size, which is probably 90% of the people trading, are trading way too big. Okay, you should really be concerned about your risk tolerance. So especially when it comes to binary events like CPI numbers, PPI numbers, FOMC meetings and announcements, earnings, and anything similar. If you know there's going to, something going to come out after close or before the market opens, look at your positions that you're concerned about and decide, would I enter this position right now? And could I, if it goes sideways, could I handle that particular loss or giving up those gains? Okay. If there are significant news releases or events expected after those market hours and could impact your positions, you really may want to decide whether you want to close that position to avoid any adverse potential effects. Okay. Again, no one ever went broke taking a profit. We talked about this in the last session. Ultimately, the key is to have a well-defined trading plan, including clear entry and exit criteria, sticking to your plans while being adaptable to changes in the market environment. It's going to help you make rational decisions rather than being driven solely by your emotions or the fear of missing out of gains or taking those losses. However, if you review your positions daily before the market closes and you see any current positions that you would be unwilling to open at the close, you may just want to consider closing them. Removing the emotional stress, removing the risk of the trade, even if it's not a profitable trade, but it's a small loss or a manageable loss that could prevent you from, achieving a much larger loss. Obviously, it means that your initial trade setup is probably no longer valid, and that's a reason to potentially close any trade. I'm not big on changing your trade plan in the middle of a trade. However, we can't be stupid about it and just decide, you know what, my trade plan says this, even though I know there's a significant risk event. If there's a significant risk event during your trade, you probably should have thought about that during the trade setup. Most likely, if you're not going to want to open that particular trade at the end of the day, that means your initial setup is probably no longer valid. As I just said, you may want to exit that trade. Again, plan your trades, trade your plan, but use some good sound judgment here that if you don't want to own a stock overnight, close it by the end of the day, because again, holding any position overnight is the same exact thing as opening the exact current position you're in at the end of the trading day. If you wouldn't open it at the end of the day, don't hold it overnight. All right, have a great rest of your trading day and week, and we'll see you in the markets. Take care.